The great light prophesied by Isaiah in today's text is echoed in the first strains of John's Gospel Good News. The light that brings peace, that saves the people from all that would extinguish it, was there from the beginning. The Word is made flesh and dwells among us. This reign is now. Will we believe it? Will we continue to put flesh on it, embodying the peace meant for all humanity?
I believe in the light. I believe in the light that has come, and is coming. I believe in the light. I believe in the light that has come, and is coming.
We see the star rising.
We see the star rising.
We hear the glad tidings.
We hear the glad tidings.
We know we are not alone.
We know we are not alone.
Holy One, we thank you for the glimpses we catch of your gift of peace on earth, even in the midst of fear, of challenge, of struggle. Even when we aren't sure that goodwill among us can be found, ignite the flame of peace within us, that we might glow with its brilliance from the inside out.
I believe in the light. I believe in the light that has come, and is coming.
Help us face the pain of life and embrace the assurance that the light is already here and always coming. Amen. As you can see, there are 3 lights on my Advent wreath, and now it is time to light the 4th candle.
Isaiah 9, 2-7. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in a pitch-dark land, light has dawned. You have made the nation great. You have increased its joy. They rejoice before you, as with joy at the harvest, as those who divide plunder rejoice. As on the day of Midian, you've shattered the yoke that burdened them, the staff on their shoulders, and the rod of their oppressor. Because every boot of the thundering warriors and every garment rolled in blood will be burned, fuel for the fire. A child is born to us, a son is given to us, and authority will be on his shoulders. He will be named Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Eternal Father, Prince of Peace. There will be vast authority and endless peace for David's throne and for his kingdom, establishing and sustaining it with justice and righteousness now and forever.
We will be reprising the theme anthem, I Believe, in its entirety on Christmas Eve. For this Sunday, we present to you the debut of a new anthem by Mark Miller, When Angels Sing, sung by the choir at Augustana College, a Lutheran institution in Rock Island, Illinois. Throughout Advent, the choir angels in our congregation and throughout our Christian connection have helped us keep music and music appreciation alive, and we are grateful for them.
John 1, 1-18. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. The Word was with God in the beginning. Everything came into being through the Word, and without the Word nothing came into being. What came into being through the Word was life, and the life was the light for all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness does not extinguish the light. A man named John was sent from God. He came as a witness to testify concerning the light, so that through him everyone would believe in the light. He himself was not the light, but his mission was to testify concerning the light. The true light that shines on all people was coming into the world. The light was in the world, and the world came into being through the light. But the world did not recognize the light. The light came to his own people, and his own people did not welcome him. But those who did welcome him, those who believed in his name, he authorized to become God's children, born not from blood, nor from human desire or passion, but born from God. The Word became flesh and made his home among us. We have seen his glory, glory like that of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. John testified about him, crying out, "This is the one of whom I said, 'He who comes after me is greater than me, because he existed before me.'" From his fullness we have all received grace upon grace, as the law was given through Moses, so grace and truth came into being through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God. God, the only Son, who was at the Father's side, has made God known.
May the words of my mouth and the meditation of our hearts be acceptable in your sight, Lord, for you are our strength and our salvation. Amen. I love Advent. It is my favorite church season, always has been. But I don't love it in the way many people love December. It's not the so-called Christmas season that resonates deep in my heart. It's the distinctively countercultural nature of Advent reflection that makes my heart sing. In the church of my growing up, we held special Advent evening services. We did so during Lent, too, and there was a similarity to the feel of these evening worship events. But the Advent ones were my favorite. Perhaps one reason was because during Lent, the days are getting longer. Lengthening is actually the meaning of the word Lent. But during Advent, which means coming, they are getting shorter. And with the onset of early dusk and cold weather, I like to cozy up in a worship space, light candles, sing, reflect, and pray. And maybe this description doesn't look countercultural to you yet. The themes of the Advent wreath lighting ritual, hope, love, joy, and peace, look warm and fuzzy on the surface, and seem to go with the sentimentality of a non-religious cultural Christmas celebration. But don't be fooled. Advent isn't about warm and fuzzy. Advent is gritty and messy, more a reflection of real life than a sappy Lifetime Christmas movie. Sorry for those of you who are fans. If you've been tuning in throughout Advent, you're going to notice there's a theme running through my sermons, because I'm going to repeat myself now. Advent hope, love, joy, and peace do not look like the images so often associated with those words. They are actions and convictions that people of faith hold to in the presence of their very opposite. I've already spoken to hope, love, and joy, so today I turn to peace. And I want to suggest that peace is not only the ending of armed conflict, and it is not only a sense of personal serenity, which sadly can be conjured up, purchased at the expense of others. The Hebrew word for peace, shalom, is difficult to translate into English. It means something like wholeness, and it carries with it the value of justice. Peace without justice is not peace. This past week, the General Secretary of the United Methodist Commission on Religion and Race made a public statement in response to the tearing down and burning of Black Lives Matter signs displayed at a United Methodist and an African Methodist Episcopal Church in Washington, D.C., after protests last weekend. She cited the prophet Jeremiah, who decried the truth deniers of his time who said, "Peace, peace," when there is no peace. The major events of this year have shed much light on the fact that justice has been far out of reach for wide swaths of our world's people, as well as for the ecosystems of our planet. The choices we make, from our personal behavior to our purchases, to what we take notice of and what we choose not to see, all contribute to whether peace will ever come to the earth. Do we live as those who have seen the light of grace dawning, aligning ourselves with it shining on all people? Or do we seek a false peace that is only for some? The Advent Film Festival selection I commend to you this week is another stirring example of the power of music to bring about transformation. It is a documentary following the women's a cappella ensemble, Sweet Honey in the Rock, a unique and amazing group of artists who have been performing together since the early 1970s. Sweet Honey's founder brought music into the civil rights movement, and her work, and that of those who have made music with her, has continued to shine the light of truth on multiple systems of injustice over the years. This group not only delights, but also teaches, as they preserve and promote the multi-layered traditions of songs from people of African descent. Their audiences are diverse, crossing boundaries of race and generation. And the film shows powerfully how community is formed in the space of their performances, bringing not only peace, but lament, not only uplift, but passion for continuing the hard work of righting the wrongs of this world. There is no trailer available for this film, but I want to share a taste of Sweet Honey with you in this clip. Sweet Honey in the Rock, Raise Your Voice, was made on the occasion of the group's 30th anniversary and the retirement of founder Bernice Johnson Reagan, and it is available for rent on Amazon.
When we came into town, I noticed that there were children jumping up and down on the trampoline, and I saw people holding hands and walking the streets and just experiencing this beautiful, beautiful place. And I realized, everywhere we go in the world, most people want the same thing. Is it paix, peace, love, peace?
Standing for freedom, freedom till he comes. 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 Stand up for freedom, stand up for freedom, stand up for freedom, stand up for freedom, peace on earth and stand up for freedom, stand up for freedom, word I speak will restore peace again. Let there be peace on earth, let the moment be now, when every man and woman understands their power, let there be peace. Stand up for freedom, let there be peace. Let there be peace. Let there be peace.
Let there be peace on earth and let love extend to every border near and far. Restore peace again. Let there be peace on earth and let this be the day when all humanity will raise their voices to say, let there be peace. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. Let there be peace on earth and let it extend to every border near and far. Restore peace again. Let there be peace on earth, let this be the day when all humanity will raise their voices and say, let there be peace. Sing with us. Let there be peace. Let there be peace. I cannot hear you. Let there be peace. Bring it down a little bit. Sing. Sing with them. Come on. Let there be. There's restoration in the name of peace. Let there be. Our families are healed in the name, in the name. It's important that we each call her name, call her name. There's healing in the name of peace. Sing. There's joy in the name, in the name, in the name. Our children are safe in the name of peace. Our families are held in the name, in the name. All men get along in the name of peace. She needs you to call her name, call her name, call her name. There's restoration in the name of peace. We need you to sing after we leave, call the name. You keep singing in the name, in the name.
Just as the singer called out to the audience, let us also remember that we have to keep the song going after the prophets who went before us are gone. The light of God cannot be extinguished, but it needs fuel to keep burning visibly. Let us keep raising our voices. Let us keep opening our ears to hear the truths that disturb and tenderize our hearts. Let us illuminate peace with justice, declaring not only in words, but in our lives, in actions of kindness, compassion, risk-taking hospitality, and generosity, that our allegiance lies with the Prince of Peace, who came for all. Amen. In times when humanity disappoints, perhaps when even our own thoughts and behaviors disappoint, it is an important act to call out, name, and claim the consequences of our wrongs. And in times of distress, it is a prophetic act to call out, name, and claim our belief in peace for the world. Hear these statements of belief from members of our own congregation.
I believe that humans seem to have a penchant for conflict, and
I believe that we are capable of learning nonviolent ways to negotiate difference.
I believe that we have perpetrated deep suffering upon each other, and
I believe that we can face up to the facts of privilege and work for equity.
I believe that our fear has told us that we must win in order to survive, and
I believe that winning at the cost of others can be called out and changed.
We believe even when we are discouraged.
We believe that when we are discouraged, raising our voices for justice will offer us peace.
We'll return with a new version of the Stillness Song next Sunday. But for today, we have a special gift from Miss Kimberly. So settle yourselves for a time of quiet prayer as you listen to her rendition of O Holy Night. song, we sing his song for all. And now let the weak say, I am strong. Let the poor say, I am rich, because of what our God has done for us. Believe. Our Carol of Resistance this week is part of the repertoire of Christmas songs that were created by people who endured brutal hardships as the result of African colonization and North American slavery. But though people of African descent were ripped from much of their cultural heritage, they maintained their heritage of group song, punctuated by West African rhythms and vocal stylings. Of course, the safest thing for oppressed people to sing about was the religious beliefs that first forced upon them by their oppressors, later gave many hope in the midst of suffering. Go Tell It on the Mountain is probably the best known African American Christmas song, and the words seeker and watchman are thought by some to have been code words for those seeking freedom on the Underground Railroad. It was made popular by the Fisk Jubilee Singers in the 19th century as these college students, themselves freed slaves, traveled the country to raise money and awareness. They were turned away from hotels, railway waiting rooms, and even some churches because of their color. As we sing, let us honor them, honor all who have endured slavery and the continued systemic racism caused by slavery. Let us go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Indeed, that the Prince of Peace that calls us to break the chains of oppression is born. And now, would you take the fourth candle, the candle of peace, from your Advent wreath and lift it high for the benediction. We wait for justice, but we do not wait to work for change. We wait for restored health, but we do not wait to work to heal. We wait for wholeness, but we do not wait to work at binding brokenness. We wait for peace, but we do not wait to work to eliminate hatred. And so, my friends, like bells ringing out the news that the light has dawned and shines on all people, fill the night left by sadness with messages of peace. Go into your lives humming the tunes that keep that peace alive in you and that spur you on in your work of justice and reconciliation. Raise your voices and repeat after me, "Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid." Amen.